My name's Lauren Marie. Thank you for joining me. This channel is dedicated to understanding yourself through psychometric assessments. And today we're talking about the DISC assessment. Specifically, what does the C plot represent? Stay tuned to find out. The DISC assessment is measuring observable human behavior. C stands for compliance. And the C plot specifically is measuring how do you respond to the rules and the procedures set by other people. So whether you're a high C or a low C, both are good and needed in the world. One is not better than the other. High C people like to be right. They can systemize things quickly in their mind to duplicate. They are thorough, and you really want these type of people in quality control. So you can think of them as an artist. At their easel, it's a paint by number. I know the colors and I know where they're going and I know where to put them. And it's all mapped out and all of the unknowns have been made known. And so I feel safe to get started because I know I can do this right. I have a silly example, but someone who can make grandma's chocolate chip cookies the same way she did every time, because they will not change the recipe because they're going to follow what the recipe says because it says how to do it correctly. Putting together IKEA furniture, directions can be comforting and good for the high C to participate in. If you're on the low side of C, you don't care necessarily about rules and procedures. They're more arbitrary places to start and they don't really apply to you. So as you move lower on the C plot, all of that internal desire the high C has to get things correct and precise kind of disappears. And a low C really likes to explore the unknown in a pioneering aspect. There's no wrong way to do it. We're going to discover what there is to find. And you can't really mess it up because there's not a standard that we're holding it to. A low C can be very defiant. They can be extremely scrappy. They can be creative outside of the box thinkers with creative problem solving skills, but they might feel like when you work with them, like you're herding cats. We just had a team meeting to align everybody to what's happening. We all say go team, and then the low C leaves and does whatever they want. Where everyone else is like, but we just said this is how we're going to do it. But the low C is like, well, it didn't apply this time because so-and-so didn't do this and this, and so we just did it this way. And then everyone else in the room is like, but we just said we were going to do it this way. So if the high C is that of a paint by number, the low C is a blank canvas. And they're not really sure yet what's going on it. It could be paint, but it could be mud or coffee or toothpaste. Don't tell me what to put on my blank canvas. It's for me to decide. So the emotions that these two people exude is pretty interesting. The high C, because they are looking to be precise, they ask a lot of clarifying questions. Why are we doing it this way? What's the point of it this way? Who are we trying to serve? What is the goal? To try and get what the target is so they can move themselves backwards and execute with precision. If you can imagine someone who's trying to be so precise, when you ask them questions or if they share ideas, they will automatically share concern, worry, or hesitancy with the team. Well, I've thought about it, but I'm not sure this is the right idea because there's 150 ways it could go wrong. Where a low C may have had an idea since lunch, given it zero thought. They share the idea with a lot of confidence and swagger because they're not thinking of all the ways it could go wrong. So a high C might have thought about an idea for 3 years and it's a Monet painting, right? Like it's this beautiful plan of action or this beautiful system. But because they communicate with hesitancy, it might be hard for people to adopt that because of the way it's communicated. Whereas the low C had an idea since lunch and it's a finger painting, but they come in and talk about it like it's a Monet, and people get on board for this finger paint plan. And the high C's in the room are like, what is happening? How could we adopt this plan? It has so many holes in it, right? A low C likes to get started on a project when the unknowns are unknown. We're going into the frontier. There's no way to do it wrong. We just need you to show up and get scrappy and see what you can find. Where the high C is like, no, let's build a city here. Let's make infrastructure. Let's set up systems. We need a street and we need avenues and pathways, and they can set up a system for a whole community to thrive in. But they would never get there unless the low C was scrappy and risk taking enough to go out and find that land to begin with. If you're a middle C and you hang out in that middle zone, then at times it really makes sense to understand what we're trying to do, and you can follow the rules and procedures and hold them with a bit of weight and gravitas, but at the same time, know the heart behind it and say, it doesn't make sense to have these rules anymore. We need a policy change, or we need to shape these rules differently to serve our end clients better. Where the high C is not necessarily going to question it because it is the policy, and the low C is like, I don't even care about what those rules are. You sit in a really great spot for policy change to stay up to date in your organization. I think that's everything I wanted to share about the C plot. Compliance. How do you respond to rules and procedures set by other people? Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Bye.